to Jacket Talk on LEB TV.
We're at Buzzcuts in downtown Lebanon. It is Jacket Talk time, brought to you by Mercy, by Jacket Nation Sports, also by Ginger Wellness, and by Mid-Missouri Bank. Kevin Stubblefield at Buzzcuts in downtown Lebanon. It is snow on the ground, 29 degrees. We're going to talk baseball, though, with Lebanon head coach Alex Weathermon on today's show, because baseball, as we talk today, is a little more than 2 weeks away, Coach, believe it or not.
Yeah, no, it's here. It's exciting. You know, we've been waiting all year for this, and the fact that we're able to get at least one outside practice in this week is exciting, but hopefully we can get a few more by the end.
Well, first practice, but we talk about baseball. It really is kind of continuous all the way through the year, and your off-season program is very extensive, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, we do all of our typical Misha stuff this time of year, but once the summer hits, our kids are either traveling, playing with the team, or they're playing with us, and we're using all 20 of those contact days to work on skill, whatever we need, a lot more individualized focus at that point. In the fall, if they don't play a fall sport, we have a league that they go play in, and we lift like crazy during that. And then in the winter, we hit it hard. We're ramping up with bullpens and swinging at a lot of high-velocity machine, just getting ready to go. So trying to prepare for our schedule.
How adaptive is your pitching staff right now? Could they go out and throw?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're going to have a lot of new faces this year, but as far as being prepared with arms, we have enough guys that are prepared to go out and throw. A lot of guys that have been throwing live at indoor facilities or anything like that for over a month now, too. So we feel like our arms are prepared, and I'm pretty happy with what we look like so far as in that department. Coach Arthur and Coach Knight have done an incredible job with them. How
many did you have for the start of practice?
So we ended up we have about 41 kids right now. So a lot of numbers still. That's something I'm proud of in our program, that a lot of kids want to come out and play and participate. One of the best parts about it was, I mean, we had 18 freshmen try out and 15 made the team. So that's a great thing right there, that we have young kids that are wanting to come out, give baseball a chance here. And there's a lot of talent in that class, too. It's not just kids who have never played before trying. We've got a lot of kids who have played some really competitive baseball, so we're excited about the future there, too.
I'm Monty Hayes, Community President at Mid-Missouri Bank in Lebanon. We have the best products and services with friendly faces you know as your neighbors. Our financial experts and community leaders live, work, and play where you do. In a world that is constantly changing, we have the technology and security to allow you to bank from anywhere. Our lobby and drive-thru is open 6 days a week at 278 North Jefferson, or visit us online at openaccounts.midmobank.com. Go Jackets!
Talk about how the middle school really helps to supplement what you have at the high school level.
Yeah, so our middle school kids do a great job. Their enthusiasm for baseball at that age is incredible, and it's what I think is probably one of the most important times of their career to get them to the next phase in high school. And having middle school baseball is a giant thing, that getting to practice all week long. And then we have kids that go play travel baseball that helps out a ton just as far as being competitive and all that. Our kids have a ton of options for baseball at that age here, even doing developmental lessons, things like that, just to try to encourage them and properly prepare them for this high school grind.
Mm-hmm. Well, each coach we've had on this season, I've asked about transferring from the Ozark Conference to the Central Ozark Conference. What are your thoughts on playing in the new league?
We're pumped up. You know, I get pretty amped up talking about it and stuff. You know, comments and all this stuff by other coaches saying that, you know, maybe we're in a B tier for the COC, and I'm like, oh, no, I think we're an A-tier team. We want to go out and prove we're an A-tier team this year. And the example I've set for the kids is, you know, we were a 3 seed in the district the year that we won a state championship at Marionville. We played with a chip on our shoulder, and we've got to keep the same approach this year. Play with the chip on our shoulder. Don't believe we're a B-tier team. Believe we're an A-tier team, and let's go out there and prove ourselves. And I know just the conversation throughout the year have gotten way more optimistic and positive with our kids as they've had an incredible off-season development from like, man, I don't know what the COC is going to look like for us, to, man, Coach, I think that we can go out, we can do this. Like, we're going to have a shot to be ultra competitive here. So I'm proud of the optimism and the attitudes going into it also.
As far as the schedule goes, a little bit different. More tournaments this year. Mm-hmm. There's no Lebanon tournament, but you are going to be going out of town and hopefully playing good competition that will help to foster competitiveness on down the road.
Oh, yes. We're starting off the year down in Branson at the Show Me Fields, and we're thrilled about that. We're going to show up that first week and face Savannah, who's an incredibly talented team that played for a district title last year. Poplar Bluff, a Class 6 school, to properly prepare us for that, too, who I believe they might have won their first round of districts last year until they faced Jackson. And then we're going to play Northland Christian, who's right up there next to Liberty and Liberty North, and they get the kids there that, want to go private school. So we're going to see 3 top-tier teams that weekend. And the next one, we go to Cassville, play a 3-day long tournament, and it's going to be a traditional tournament format, pool play, and then after that, single elimination. So there's going to be something on the line at that one. And the weekend after, we're heading down to Harrison, Arkansas. And I think our kids have played a lot of youth baseball tournaments down towards Harrison. So I just got the schedule for that today, and we've never played a single one of those teams. And it's just going to be a fun thing to go do in a bracket-style tournament. And then the last one we'll be in is the Forsyth tournament at the end of the year. And I've loved that tournament. We did it every year I was at Marionville. It's just a great one to get properly prepared to go into your district. Everyone's going to throw their top arms for a few innings. We're going to see good pitching. We're going to be able to play on turf and get games in. It's going to be a great one for us to finish out our season with.
My name is Jaisha Connor, owner and nurse practitioner here at Ginger Wellness. I believe that sometimes healthcare does too much, and I believe that's where wellness centers can really bridge that gap and really give people some confidence in natural ways, healthier ways, to really improve quality of life and to get healthy.
We want to feel better and live better lives. It's not about quantity, it's a lot about quality of your life.
Ginger Wellness is where I went to get my quality of life back.
The same number of games if the weather cooperates this year than you have the last 2 years?
Yeah, we've got 35 scheduled right now. One is a buffer just in case something, the right opportunity or anything comes up. But we're planning on playing 35 varsity contests this year. And even our freshman schedule, I believe I've got them scheduled for 36 just because we have the numbers to do it. So we're going to play as much as we can with having the numbers that we do and the pitching because in our program, we stress everybody's got to learn how to throw off the mound. You just never know what kids are going to develop into. And the biggest surprise this year has been Bronson Rhodes. He's not thrown for us the last 3 years, and now all of a sudden he's been thrown off the mound. It's like, dude, you're going to have to throw for us now. And that's why we do that. We train every kid that way because you just never know what you're going to blossom into by the time you're a senior from that freshman year. And we're going to play a lot of games because we love to play. And by the end of the season with practices, it's tough to keep them invested. You got to have something on the line.
Can you project your starting pitching rotation right now as we visit today?
Man, probably not projected. I'll tell you this. We know that Braden Lamontagne is going to start games for us on the mound. He's one of our returning primary 3 starters last year. Had an incredible season on the mound, a 2.16 ERA. Braden's going to start games, but, we got kids like Chance Cromer returning who started a lot of games. I really like for my middle infielders to not have to be a starting pitcher in a rotation just to save their arms in the middle infield and make sure everybody's healthy. So hopefully some of our guys will be able to give a little breather there, but Chance is a candidate. Tony Myers is a candidate. Aaron Graham is a candidate. Toph Kilburn is a candidate. I mean, we've got so many guys who we just don't know. And we got Bronson Rhodes who's going to fight. And honest to goodness, maybe the sneakiest of them all is Brody Shoemaker, who came back to us in the fall. And one of his first bullpens hit 87 on the mound and has developed like crazy since then. And as soon as some of these kids can get that confidence and go into a varsity game and see what varsity defenses look like behind them, I think that they're going to have really, really special years.
And the individuals you mentioned, other than Bronson, they do have varsity pitching experience for you.
Yes. We've tried to inch them in as much as we possibly could over the last few years just to get them into that, role of, hey, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do this. And even guys who haven't had varsity experience yet, like Tate Carr and Quentin Hendricks, those are guys that are, hey, you might play a role. And another one that's sneaky too is Harrison Kramer. Coach Arthur praises Harrison Kramer and what he's looked like on the mound. Eli Graham's another one. Ethan Phillips has looked tremendous. I mean, we just have a plethora of arms that it's like, all right, we need to play a ton of games early on and see who's got what and who's going to be able to do anything for us, because I'm genuinely curious. And that's not even touching on the sophomores like Beckett York, who's done an incredible job, and Harrison Howe, who's got the frame to be an absolute stud on the mound.
Well, things are going to sort themselves out as you approach opening day, but kind of give us an idea of who may be your frontline position players, outfield and infield and behind the plate.
Yeah, so let's start off behind the plate, because that's the one that all year long I've heard who's going to take over for Gavin, who's going to replace the All-State catcher, and it's looking like Beckett York's going to be our primary catcher moving forward. And from watching him in freshman baseball catching to this year, it's like night and day. He looks like an incredible backstop for us this year, if I'm just being honest. Tremendous athleticism, a great bat, but I'm super pumped up seeing him back there, because a lot of teams, I know they game planned around Gavin and how good Gavin is. And Beckett, I mean, he's going to take it to the next level, I think. He's really, really good. In the field, I mean, you're looking at guys like, Cole Milliken returning after an All-State year, Chance Cromer returning after what I consider to be like an All-State year, Tony Myers, a two-time All-Conference performer, and then Harrison Kramer over at first base. That's incredible. And then that's not even counting Bronson Rhodes potentially at first base too. Ethan Phillips, who's made some tremendous plays at practice at third base. I mean, I'm really, really optimistic about those competitors right there and just what it's going to look like opening day. But you're going to see a lot of familiar faces in the infield, and then in the outfield it's going to be fun. Braden LaMontagne's going to be roaming out there in center field again. Brody Shoemaker's fighting for a spot. Evan Ogle has looked really good in the outfield. Eli Graham has looked really good in the outfield. It's a lot of competitiveness and a lot of familiar faces that are going to be guiding some extremely talented new faces to the varsity lineup.
You've got the depth, so when you write out the lineup card day in and day out, you're not going to say, oh, boy, well, I'm going to have to put this individual in the number 9 slot and hope. You're going to have confidence going out that everybody you put out on the field is going to get the job done.
Yeah. Even the first day of practice, it was incredible. I think we hit probably 12 to 14 home runs as a team to the opposite field, just working on that, and I was blown away. I mean, we saw some shots that I've not seen since I've been here. I believe Braden and Bronson both hit the back end of the tennis courts over in left field at one point, and just some serious talent going on in that aspect. And another one, I mean, Nolan Milliken is a DH. He's competing for that spot, and Nolan's got some juice. He hit 2-3 home runs last year in JV baseball, was absolutely tremendous for us. So I'm thrilled. Our lineup's going to be very talented this year. I think it's going to be deep. And I think that we're going to be able to get a lot of guys opportunities.
Mm-hmm. What about the speed factor? Are you going to be able to steal some bags and go first to third?
I would say we're intelligent this year. We lose Gavin. Whenever you lose a 40-plus stolen base guy, I don't know if we're looking at breaking Class 6 records and stuff like we've looked at in the past. But everybody that I've seen on the bases so far looks way more intelligent, even already this year. Our first thirds have been incredible so far. Even the young kids, the freshmen, have came in and done a tremendous job of that. Now they're learning my new school and all that stuff, and they're learning it pretty quickly. And it's a lot thrown at them all at once. But our older guys have a good concept of understanding their reads, understanding when pitchers are tipping, and being able to take advantage of that now.
Third year for you as the head coach at Lebanon. Easier now going into year number 3 compared to when you first started here?
Yes. As far as the adjustment to the kids and stuff, it's way easier. I understand who my players are, and this kind of feels like the first group to go all the way through for me, because I probably wouldn't have seen the seniors this year much in freshman baseball anyways with games. So I know who my personnel are. I know who's capable of what. And I think that we have a good game plan moving forward to match the strengths of what our team's going to be, which is obviously the most crucial element to winning games, is making sure that you're playing to your strengths and you're not trying to emphasize your weaknesses out on the field.
Talk about your coaching staff. Who's on board this year for you?
So we've got a lot. We got a lot of participation this year with our coaches that I'm absolutely thrilled about. Obviously, Coach Brock's going to return as our first base coach and JV head coach. Coach Arthur's going to return as our pitching coach. We're going to see 2 new faces in the varsity dugout with us all this year too, and Holton Simmons, recent graduate of Evangel, played baseball there. He's learning really, really quickly.
Former Hartville Eagle.
Former Hartville state champion Eagle. That meant a lot to me too. Whenever I was visiting with him, it's funny, he found me at a Dairy Queen parking lot one night and just said, "Hey man, I'd love to." I'm like, "Yeah." And my thought process is, you're a winner. You proved it at Hartville. You're playing college baseball. You want to do this? Yeah. Come on, join. We'll take all the winners we can get, kind of thing. And then the other one's Dalton Rawlings. Coach Rawlings is from Claremore, Oklahoma, which most people probably don't know is a baseball powerhouse. Was a state runner-up on their team in 2012 and was just a fundamental all-around utility guy for them. And he is Mr. Sunshine, as I like to say. He is a player's coach through and through. The kids absolutely love him. He's learning a ton. Baseball has changed a lot since he was last in it back in 2012. But he is a great guy to be around our kids, to help develop them, and they trust him and they love him a ton. So both those guys are going to be giant additions to our staff. We love them already. They feel like they're at home. I know that they're learning a lot because we play baseball very differently at Lebanon compared to a lot of places, and just the focuses and emphasizing on different things. And they're learning a lot this year, which is good, and they're going to be great aspects of and parts of our team moving forward for the near future and hopefully for the long-term future. And freshman baseball, you got Coach Knight returned to be the head coach of the freshmen. And if many people know about AK, which they should in this community, just an incredible coach, incredible guy, a huge advocate for our school and our kids. And you just can't say enough great things about what he does for kids and for our coaching staff for both baseball and football. Just does a tremendous job.
Another pitching guru for you.
A pitching guru. We've got tons of those guys, and it's awesome. And then his 2 assistants. We're going to have 8 total guys on staff, so he's going to have 2 assistants. The first one is Cody Kimes from Rolla. He actually went to school with Coach Arthur, is a giant football guy who's ready to get into baseball, and he has hit the ground running. He asks great questions. He's always there for our kids. He's doing a tremendous job, and I think he's going to be a great one to instill discipline and also be able to love on the freshmen and properly prepare them for us the next year. And then the last one is Morgan Laughlin, who doesn't have much of a background in baseball at all. He works at the school, and he enjoys being around all of us. And he's like, you know what, I would like to volunteer this year and kind of help out a little bit. And he's learning a ton. He's doing great. And the kids, he's another player's coach. The kids gravitate towards him. They love him. He's a tremendous human being, just a great guy for us to have around in the dugout and to help our kids.
And at the middle school?
At the middle school, we got Coach Reynolds's.
Still?
Yep, both of them. We have Jason Reynolds as the head coach down there, and we have Troy Reynolds as his assistant officially this year. So they're doing a great job down there. They're doing everything that, to prepare them for coming up to us in high school, and they keep 24 kids. So they're going to be busy, and it's going to be good to see their development.
Coach, people drive to the high school and go by Ole Scott Field. What are they going to see this year as far as facility improvements and enhancements?
Well, one big thing is we have new dirt this year. So we're going to have this red clay dirt down that I'm really enjoying so far. We've raised up the baselines. It's going to be tremendous. Obviously, we have our camera system back this year as well for us to develop kids and help give them clips and memories for a lifetime while also helping make them be a little bit better of a baseball player too. I'm really excited about it this year. We've got some other projects that might be coming in the works too, to maybe the press box and stuff, potentially. So we're trying to iron it all out, and I'm really excited for the future of Ole Scott.
How about the lighting system at the ballpark?
Oh yes, the maintenance did a tremendous job getting us those new lights that are doing an excellent job. I'm very, very excited about those, and they even painted our foul poles this year, or not foul poles, sorry, the light poles, and they painted them black, so now there's not that glare out there that could mix in with the ball. They worked really hard this offseason to do all that stuff for us, and we've truly been blessed with a lot of the improvements we've seen at our field just over the last year.
Folks look at the schedule, they'll see no trip to Busch Stadium, Coach. They're disappointed.
Yep, no trip to Busch this year, unfortunately. That is a pretty pricey trip. That one puts a dent in the budget a little bit there, but we are going back to Hammons Field on April 23rd to play Bolivar there, which is nice. It's kind of cool to see a former Ozark Conference foe there, and we're working through maybe hopefully get to do this as a yearly thing with them or find a different venue. So I'm always trying to search for the next opportunity. I had looked into the Field of Dreams in Iowa, and unfortunately, the only time we could play was before we're allowed to this year. Kauffman Stadium, where the Northwest Arkansas Naturals play down in Arkansas. I'm always digging and trying to find something cool to take our kids to go and do. And another thing that they used to do here that I think would be tremendous in the future is that trip to Florida. Sounds like a great time for the kids and everybody over spring break. So I'm always looking for the next cool experience to try to take our kids on. And we want to win games. We want to develop kids and help them reach their goals. But we want this to be a A-plus baseball experience for these kids at Lebanon. We want them to walk away being like, wow, I really enjoyed my time in the baseball program because of what it gave to me. So
You talked about the budget. What are some of the fundraising activities that you have?
yeah, so we're getting ready to host our bingo night on March 9th at 4, 6, and 8 p.m. at Brick House. We're selling tickets for $20. That includes a chili dinner and water or sweet tea with that. And our kids are going to be running the bingo. So we've got Nolan Milliken as our MC for the night for bingo, and we got kids being the servers, the bus boys. They're doing it all. So I'm nervous about them hosting and running the whole event, but I'm excited because I think they're going to learn a lot, and I think it's going to be really cool for our community. And some of the prizes that we've got are absolutely incredible.
It's a while before you get into the tail end of the month of May, but the schedule should hopefully have you prepared for what you're going to face. You're going to go back to St. Louis again for district competition.
Yep, more than likely. They've not released it yet, but that's what we're assuming. And which I know you've seen it the last 2 years too. It's gauntlet up there. I mean, the coaches, whenever we have our district meeting, refer to it as the district of death because you're going to see probably 4 to 5 of the best teams in the entire state go down in one district. And that's a pretty crazy thing right away. So, 2 years ago we beat Parkway South. They started Luke Sullivan on the mound, who's a Mizzou pitching commit, with Brady Kellenbrink, who was committed to LSU at that point in center field. And then last year they started Brady Kellenbrink, who had then flipped his commitment to Mizzou on the mound against us. And 2 incredibly hard-fought games, very tough games. And, the biggest thing is we were competitive in both of them. We won one, we lost one, but sometimes it's just how the MSHA format falls with it being single elimination. You don't always get your second chance. And, they've got Vianney ranked as the #1 team in the Midwest this year on perfect game already. So we're excited. We're having to ramp up. And I tell our kids all the time, I know I'm challenging you pretty hard today at practice, but I'm not challenging you to, win whatever. We want to try to win a district title, and we want to assert ourselves there and prove to a lot of these private St. Louis schools that we can compete with them and that we can make a push.
Well, you talked about the talent, and you're going to run into that when you play Class 5, Class 6 competition like that. But you have some gentlemen on your baseball team that are going to play at the next level also.
Oh, yes. An incredible group of kids, man. Early on we have Braden LaMontagne commit to Drury University with Bronson Rhodes also. They're both going to go there, and they've looked incredible so far. Absolutely spectacular. Chance Cromer, one of the commitments that I'm the most proud of in my coaching career. I had nothing to do with it, but Chance, the whole way through I'm asking, hey, what do you want out of this? What do you want out of this? And he's like, no, I want to go be a student first. So he's going to go to Washington University in St. Louis, study some medical stuff, and just made a very intelligent academic decision while being a baseball player there also. So that's just a great example for our kids of how to take your education seriously there too. Tony Myers now committed to Mission University too, so he's going to be local. Hopefully I'll get to go watch him play some games down there, and I think Tony's going to make a lot of big waves down there really early on too. Then recently, Aaron and Eli Graham have also committed to North Arkansas College, which that's Coach Proc's alma mater as well. He played baseball down there. And, they've, in recent years, produced some incredible talent. And about 12 years ago, national champions. So that's a great junior college. It's going to be a great fit for them.
Pretty close to home also.
Pretty close to home. Not a bad trip down, 44 and 65 down there. And they're going to get to go down there and play this year in that tournament too. And then we're anticipating probably about one more. We're anticipating Chris Kilburn finding a home. He's still sorting through all of that, but he's going to have opportunities, and he's going to go be a pitcher in college, and I think he's going to do a tremendous job at it.
Fantastic. Well, Coach, it's still wintertime in the Ozarks. Looking forward to baseball, though, and the spring will be here before we know it. Thanks for the visit. Appreciate it, and best of luck to the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Coach Alex Weathermon joining us on Jacket Talk from Buzzcuts in downtown Lebanon, brought to you by Mid-Missouri Bank, also by Mercy, by Jacket Nation Sports, and by Ginger Wellness.
Welcome to Jacket Talk on LEB TV.